Welcome back to another episode of the Landscaping Podcast. I'm your host, Zachary Small, joined by Shay Brickhouse. And today we're talking about how you stay focused on the mission. In a variety of aspects of life, people are asking, how do you do it? How do you do the family thing? How do you do the business thing? How do you do the podcast, the blog, the writing, the hardscape, the landscape, the chemicals? We just had snow. People are saying, well, how do you do all these things? And to me, I almost get offended when people ask me the question. I'm looking forward to having the conversation because in my eyes, I'm like, how do you not? Yeah. How do you not have that same drive for anything? You know, and maybe you have got it for something, but it's like the more comfortable things. And to me, when you're asking me that question, it's hard to understand the alternative as like, why would you not want to pursue everything? And so we're going to do a quick PSA on just how we stay focused on our missions, our collective mission, and then just how maybe you could take some of that and apply it in your world. And I'm going to keep rocking on this thing because it's super comfortable. So Shay, have you had people ask you these types of questions?
Yeah, I mean, certainly as we've progressed into other stuff, you know, some of my friends that I'm real close with, we started the podcast and they were like, man, I thought you said that you were really busy. Why are you adding a podcast? Or why are you doing this? You know, you talk about how you don't have all this free time. And so I've had that question asked to me before. And the answer is that, you know, I have realized that, one, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do it all the way, or I'm not doing it at all. I'm going to go do something else. In the previous podcast, we had talked about that though, and how no matter what we do, I'm gonna end up in the same situation I'm in, where I'm always busy. I'm always, you know, looking for the next thing. So I might as well devote that to myself, or to the company and to my family. So to answer your question, how do you do it all? Well, we just do it. I mean, I think that's the main thing. Is it's what we do. If you're listening to this and you're not in the green industry, well, I mean, I probably would ask you, how do you do what it is you do? It's just what you do. So I don't know. I mean, that's the way my take is on it, is that I just do it.
Yeah, I mean, the human capacity, like we're capable of so much, and it trips me out when people don't fulfill that because they're like, well, I've got kids, you know, and that's why I can't do it. And it's like, no, that should be your fuel to do it.
Yeah.
You know, well, I've got a wife, and you know, the old ball and chain. I'm like, no, actually, that should be like motivation to be a better man. Yep. You know, and so when I look at this, I'm going to call them excuses because that's what they are. When people aren't fully putting out their potential and they're blaming this, that, and the other, I think at the end of the day, they just don't have the right why. Like there's not a why inside of them to go and do it. And so instead of finding an excuse to do the thing, they find an excuse not to. And you coached your son or both sons?
Yeah,
you coached baseball, right?
Yeah, I coached my son's T-ball team.
So you had T-ball going on top of everything else you were doing. Like you were still running the business,
Yep.
doing all these other things, and baseball is brought into the mix. I bring that up because that's one of the ones, well, how do you coach and do photos and go and do a job? Again, I want to be there, so I make time for coaching.
That's right.
I balance the job, and I go out and pursue the passion. And I think anything less than that, I wouldn't be doing what God has put me on earth to do. Like if I'm not going to fulfill everything that I'm capable of doing, am I really doing what I've been put here to do?
Yeah.
And I don't think so. I think I would be less than and not using myself as a tool that I was meant to be used by.
Yeah, 100%. The takeaway I just picked up from that was, you know, excuses. Instead of looking for the excuses as why you can't do it, well, maybe look for the reasons why you can or why you should. You know, particularly if you're husband, father, well, you should devote some time to your family, to your wife, to your kids, make time for them. So if you're running a business, it's like, well, yeah, you've got to take time for your family, devote that time to them, stay track to that mission because you made a commitment at marriage with vows. You made a commitment at the birth of your children. So it's like, stay true to that mission. And then as you're running a business, it's like, well, you also have to stay true to the mission of your business. Family, take care of the business next. If I've got a task or we've got a job coming on, but we've got jobs, you know, booked out months down the road, it's like, all right, well, right now, the job that is happening this week is the one that I have to make sure the guys are moving on. When I get a second on this job, then I will focus on 2 months down the road and making sure the materials are lined up there. But it's staying on track with, you know, what is right in front of you at that given point and just being true to who you are and making sure that what you're doing is 100% at that time, you know, and not just half hearts and
You can say half-ass.
Yeah, I was trying not to, and I was like, I don't know what else the word to put in here.
You got a whole ass.
Half-hearted it is, but I mean, you know, whatever it is you're doing. I mean, you brought it in T-ball. At no point was I like, man, I've got a lot of free time. I should go coach my son's T-ball team. But at the same time, you know, my son wanted to play, and they didn't have a coach. well, I wasn't going to be the parent that let my kid not have a team because I wasn't going to be there. So we dedicated some time, pulled it away from work, went in, coached T-ball. The amount of YouTube videos I watched on T-ball coach is unreal. But
Did they prepare you?
no.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was going to be surprised if you said yes.
No, not for T-ball. I had no clue.
So looking at that, that's one of the things that really stands out about how you approach things, because it's very similar to me in that when I look at it, I'm like, this is a part of who I am. And so we've got a lot of titles on us as men, but like at the bottom, you're like a man. And so for me to be the best other titles, the best husband, the best friend, the best father, the best everything else, I've got to be the best man. And to do that, I've got to like align my life with my passions. People reached out when I went from teaching to landscaping because they're like, bro, you're inside all day and you got summers off. Like teachers have a schedule that you can just sit and follow. It's always the same. It's perfect for you because you can balance this, that, and the other. And I was like, but I don't want to because it didn't sit right with my soul. And so therefore I would have been less of a man. That way I could have that comfort more time, but I would have been less me. And so if I'm less Zach, I'm less of a husband. I'm less of a father. I'm less of a friend. I'm less of a community member. So to me, it's not even a question of like, what's the most comfortable, what's the most logical or feasible. It's like, what does your soul say? You have to do what the soul says to do because anything less is like, you've now dimmed your light on all those other areas and you might not know it. You might be like, yeah, I've got more time to do things, or it's such a more set schedule for me to follow, right? But like, I don't come home with that same smile. I don't have that same like, oh man, like what do we do today? Jackie and Ava were just in here and Kodo's out there working. Like my whole family was on site today. Like, and they see me, they love what I do because they see how happy it makes me. And if I was teaching, would I have that same fire? I don't think so, because that's why I was called to something. And so looking at that, if you have a thing, like you have to do it. Like you have to find a way to do it. And it's not at the detriment of like your health. I'm not saying give up all of your sleep and be stressed out and cry all the time. Like there's a sustainable way to do it, because if you're feeling that pain, if you're feeling the stress, that just means that something's not aligned.
Yeah.
Like balancing the baseball, like that means something gave for something to take. There's a healthy balance there and it's okay. But if you're like wrecked every day and you're like, your eyes are like falling out of your head and your hair is falling out because you're so stressed out, that's like something's got to change.
Yeah.
But when you're motivated by what you do, dude, it seems like a lot from the outside in, but to me, I'm like, I like this. This is fuel. Like, let's go. Like, how much more can we do? Which, we're finding out. We got a speaking engagement coming up. Like, let's do more.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. The other day, you said it to me. We were talking about, being tired. And we were pushing snow, so we'd run some long hours. But you're like talking about the fact, when your brain is just constantly turning, you're constantly processing information, and you're running, one job, in your head on one side, then you're thinking about this, doing office work, taking the phone calls, responding to the emails, talking to the guys, making sure the equipment's running, making sure the trucks are fueled, making sure all the things behind the scenes are working. It's like you don't realize like how much energy you actually burn. But it's like at the same time, you process all of that into one thing. So it's like when one thing comes up, it's like you pull that to the front and you're like, all right, address this. Address it, fix it, move it, pull the next thing up to the front. You address it, you fix it, you move it. And we're doing that with this podcast. So it's like when my friends ask me, why would you bring a podcast on? You already said you had no time. It's like, well, this podcast, is part of the industry. It's part of the company. It's different. We're having to find time to do this. However, at the same time, it's without the podcast, people wouldn't be engaged with us the way they are now. I mean, just had a conversation at the bank today where someone was literally talking to me and they were like, man, I didn't know you guys did all this. The social media, the podcast, the awesome media guy that you've got working for you who's putting all this stuff out there, non-shameless plug to for media. But it's like, if you didn't have all that, we wouldn't know who Landscape Unlimited is. So it's like, yeah, we took time away. We didn't take time away. We created more work for us to do. However, without it, we wouldn't be fulfilling our full potential, as a company. And so that's where we're at. And then with me fulfilling the full potential as a company, well, now I'm fulfilling who Shay is. Same way with you, working, at the school. Well, this is me. If you ask anybody that knows me, if you present an opportunity to me, 9 times out of 10, it's like a fire's behind me and I'm running around with fire extinguishers. And they're like, hey, you want to do something else? Cool.
Throw it on.
Let me get the other fire extinguisher. We'll go do that too.
It's got to feel good. Like we were talking about the bank, that's got to bring light to you as well. Having other people talk to you about your world. Being able to actually finally start talking about your world. Like that's, for me, it's it feels great for me from the outside watching it happen to you.
Yeah.
So like when you're like, hey, somebody talked to the bank. I'm like, bro, they're talking about Landscaping Unlimited at the bank.
Well, it's not even just
sick.
us. Like, obviously, I like to think that they're talking about us as the company, but it's the industry. They're talking about the industry too.
Even better.
We were at some meet and greets for some political campaigns the other day, trying to see who we're going to vote for, and someone had approached me and they were like, "I've never been so interested in landscaping. Like, we're watching the videos
Yes.
and like we're just we're engaged with what it is you guys do. And like I said, not necessarily us as a company, but us as an industry. And that's the whole goal with this whole thing is we want to shed light on the industry and where it's at. And so with that comes a lot of stressful situations, a lot of overheating in our brains to where it's, what are we doing? We don't have time, but it's all about pulling the focus to what is right in front of you and making sure you accomplish that and you do that at 100% of your capability. So
Absolutely. So listen, instead of asking us again, like, how do we do it all? Ask the question, how can we help you do it? Ask a specific question as to how we can bring what it is we're doing and bring that to your world. Because maybe in your industry, you could start a podcast, you could start a blog, you could start getting something going and networking with somebody outside of your industry like us. This is what we do. We're sharing you how we're doing it. I mean, we're family men, we're married men, so we've got wives, we've got kids, we've got personal hobbies that we enjoy ourselves. We have time for all of that, plus a podcast, plus landscape, plus hardscape, plus snowscape, plus chemical program, plus whatever else it is we got going on. We got some trucks on the road. Like, whatever it is we're doing, we just make it work. And we want that for you as well. So don't ask the question like, well, how do we do it? Ask the question, how can we help you do it?